All right, you guys ready? Everybody give me a thumbs up if you're ready to get going. And I'm recording now, just so you guys are aware. All right, I know that you guys have done a handful of Zooms with Mr. Warner and maybe some of the other teachers. This is actually my first time doing it. So this will be a learning experience for me, as it is for some of you guys who maybe haven't done this before. So after we're done here, if you want to give me feedback on things that you feel like I can improve or do better, by all means, send me an EDSB message. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and I'll make improvements as I go. What we're going to do today, let me pull it up on my screen here, and I will share it with you guys. Give you an objective. All right, can you guys all see my screen here with the little PowerPoint that I have up? If you can, you give me a thumbs up. And if you need to stop me at any point, you can use the little hand emoji to ask a question. All right. All right, here's what we're going to do today. You're going to need the guided notes, Democrats versus Republicans. I'll show you that in a minute. If you were not able to get onto EDSB this morning, not a big deal. I'll show you where that is, what it looks like. It's super easy to fill out. We're going to spend a little bit of time, though, going over the rules, as you guys can see there on your screen. You know, a couple of big ones, and we're going to relax these as you guys show that you can do this a little bit on your own. The first one is you have no profile pictures. When you guys log in, please make sure that your camera is turned off. You also must display your full name. So you'll have first name, last name, so I know who's in the room and who's asking me questions. We're going to be respectful, just like in class. There's no name calling or anything like that. Everybody's opinion is welcome. Again, you're just kind of following regular school rules as we're doing this. Probably not today, but in the future, we're going to do little breakout rooms. What I'll do is I'll give you guys kind of an open-ended question, and I'll put you in your own rooms that you can discuss. You will be required to participate in those. That'll probably be starting on Wednesday. Again, language, make sure that it's appropriate. You guys can see them right down here on our rules. If you guys are using the chat, please don't spam it and just put all kinds of stuff. Use that to ask legitimate questions or just say hello to people. If you have a question, you can raise your hand, and I'll be more than happy to stop to address. And I will give you guys a chance to talk here in a little bit. Whoops, let me back that up. And hold on, sorry. All thumbs today. And on normal days, we'll start about 9:10 and we'll run about 30 minutes or so. Any questions at all about any of the rules or what we're doing? No questions? All right. So schedule for today, we're going to do a brief overview of the rules, which we just did. I'm going to give you guys kind of a look at what the week is going to look like, just in terms of Zoom meetings and in terms of what the work's going to kind of look like. I'm going to show you guys the notes that I'm going to use for this particular lecture. And then we're just going to talk about the two main political parties in the United States today and just some of the basic things about them. Everybody cool with that? Give me a thumbs up if you're okay with that. I got a thumbs up from Sammy, from Christian. All right. So here's what the week is going to look like. And again, this is my first time doing it, so I appreciate you guys early in the morning coming on with me. Today, we're just going to talk about political parties. We did that a little bit last week, so it's going to be kind of a review for you guys, but I want to make sure that before we go on, that you understand what these political parties are and the basic things that they believe in. You are going to have an assignment. It's very simple. It's an article from Scholastic Kids. I do have that posted to EDSB, and there's a handful of questions that you're going to answer. The assignment is not going to be due until Wednesday. We got a few more kids joining us. And we have Mr. OJ joining us this morning. So you guys make sure you say hi to him. And the way that this is going to work is when you guys have an assignment, it's going to be due before the next class period. So today we have a civics meeting Monday morning. The questions and the assignment that I'm giving you today, you'll have all day to work on it. It is not due until Wednesday. If I give you an assignment on Wednesday, it will not be due until Friday. That's to give you guys plenty of time to be able to do it. The first couple assignments that we're going to do are going to be short, kind of quick and to the point, and should not take you that long. We'll gradually increase the difficulty as you guys get more accustomed to doing this distance learning thing. So on Wednesday, we're going to talk about third parties. And again, it's going to be a live Zoom from 9 to 10. If you're not able to make it onto the live Zoom, I do have a YouTube channel that this will get posted to. So you guys can always come back in and watch that at your leisure if you're not able to make it during the meeting live. You notice that I have on here all the Zoom IDs. The password is always going to be civics, by the way. So every single day that we have a Zoom meeting, I will make sure and post that to EDSB for you guys. And if I'm going too fast, guys, raise your hand and you can stop me at any point here. On Friday, we're going to talk about what elections are, what the primaries are, what the general election is, and then beginning kind of next week will be some new stuff. Every single day, every one of your teachers is going to have what are called office hours. And you look here on the screen from 2 to 3 p.m. That means your teacher will be on Zoom, they'll be live, and you can talk to them face-to-face about any assignments that you have, any problems with EDSB, or any general questions about the school that you'll need. And again, I'll be posting all those to EDSB. Mr. Wolford also sent out a schedule that has all of the session IDs and all of the passwords on it for you guys. So be on the lookout for that. Next week, I should say next, the X button on my computer is broken, so next week, I guess. The civics class will be on Tuesday, Thursday. So everything is flipping. So this week, civics and math are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Next week, civics and math are Tuesday, Thursday. This week, language, arts, and science are Tuesday, Thursday. Next week, language, arts, and science will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it's going to keep rotating like that. Any questions about what the week is going to look like? Dylan is applauding me. I appreciate it, buddy. Or did you have a question? You're just giving me applause. Did anybody have any questions about the? Let me unmute. Dylan, do you have a question, buddy?
Yeah, I was wondering what the YouTube channel was.
I'll have that. I'll have a link to it posted on EDSB today for you guys.
Okay.
It's already on there, but EDSB is just kind of doing its thing right now because everybody is on.
Mm-hmm.
So once that's up and running again, hopefully in a few hours, I'll get that up there for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You're welcome. So fortunately for us, prior to us going to spring break, you guys have actually covered most of the civic stuff. I was getting ready to wind it down and get you guys ready for the civics EOC, which I know you guys are all heartbroken. The civics EOC has been canceled, at least for the time being. Wyatt, you had a question, buddy?
I did, but Dylan answered my question.
Dylan answered it. Dylan's the man. All right, so if you look over here, these are the upcoming topics that we're going to be covering. Right now, we're doing political parties and elections. Really, that should take us through the end of next week, and I'll let you know if there's going to be a quiz or anything coming up like that. We're then going to do what are called interest groups, and we're going to talk about how the news media can influence. This is something that you guys are probably seeing a lot on TV with everything going on right now. We're going to talk about different types of governments. Obviously, we have a republic, we have a democracy in this country. There are different ways of organizing society, so we'll take a look on this unit, probably in about a month, how other countries run their countries. And then the last thing that we do, which is one of the best things that I think, one of the best topics that I get to teach, is American foreign policy. We'll be doing a lot of history. We'll actually go back all the way to about the year 1900. We'll talk about the Spanish-American War. We'll talk about both world wars, the Great Depression. We'll look at the Vietnam War, before that, the Korean War. A lot of history stuff in here. So any questions about what's coming up and what we'll be doing going forward? No questions? All right, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to get out of the PowerPoint here for just a second. And I'm going to show you guys something. So a few things that you may want to do is, if you notice on my computer screen, get this to work, there we go. I created a folder. And I'm going to show you guys how to do this. I think it would really help you guys, especially if you're sharing a computer with mom, with dad, if you're sharing a computer with another sibling who is also using the computer. Can you guys all see my computer screen? You guys give me a thumbs up if you see what I'm talking about on my desktop. Yeah, you guys can see what I'm looking at? Okay. So the way you do this is, you notice that what I did was, let me get the chat up here too. I created a folder for every single class. And when you guys get assignments or you have notes, it's just very easy to dump them in there. Let me show you, for those of you that don't know how to do this, how that actually works. First thing you do is you just do right click, you click new folder, and you can name it whatever you want. I'll just keep my untitled folder here. When you go inside of the folder.
Mellum. This Mr. OJ.
Yes, sir.
Oh, all we can see is the PowerPoint.
Oh, okay.
We can't see it yet.
Where did it go? Bear with me. New learning curve here for me.
There we go.
Can you see it?
Yep.
I'm just omitting a few other people in here, Mr. Wolford. All right. So what I was doing and what I was talking about, I created a folder here on my desktop, which again, I think that this would really help you guys. And you notice my folder here. I kind of did a mock-up one where I have civics, language arts, math, PE, science. And so this is an easy way for you guys to kind of keep track of what you're doing. In order to do something like this, all you do is right click. You have a new folder. You can name it whatever you want. You then open up the folder and you can put folders inside of it. And so you can have one for civics. You right click, new folder. You can have one for math, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Any questions about how to do that? Guys, give me a thumbs up if you understand and can see what I'm talking about here. You guys are good? OJ, were you able to see that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Now, for today, we're going to go through and talk about political parties. There were notes that I put onto Edsby, and I apologize, the link originally wasn't working. I know a few of you guys had trouble bringing it up. I did repost it just as a document. When you download it, it's going to look something like this. All we're going to do is compare and contrast the two major political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. This is something you can very easily type into, as you see that I'm kind of doing here. As we go through, I will help you guys fill that out, and then that's pretty much going to be it for the day. I see that Zach has a question. Let me find Zach, mute him. Yes, Zach, go ahead. It's not letting me unmute. Zach, can you hear me? No, guess not. Zach, you had your hand raised. Did you have a question, buddy? No? All right. So let me go back to PowerPoint. All right, can you guys all see my slideshow again? We're on there? All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk very briefly about what a political party is, and then we're going to look at just some of the major differences between them. And again, if I'm moving too fast or if you guys don't understand something, by all means, just raise your hand. You can stop me and I'll be happy to answer any questions. So again, what is a political party? So if you look here, political parties are groups of people that share political beliefs. One of the main goals of a political party is to try to get as many of their members elected into Congress or the White House as possible. That way they can influence legislation, they can get the laws that they want to see passed, and direct the country in a way that they want to do. Is everybody okay with that? Do you feel like you understand what a political party is? Give me a thumbs up if this makes sense to you. So here's just some basic facts. The first couple of slides we're not going to take notes on, just some background information for you guys so that you can kind of follow along and understand. Let's see. All right. So the Democratic Party is the older of the two main political parties. If you see here, it was founded back in 1824, quite a while ago. A lot of times you'll see their color, official color, as blue. And as a lot of you guys know, they use a donkey as their symbol. Let me go back to that other slide. So you see here, the donkey is their symbol, whereas the Republicans use the elephant, and there is a reason for that, which we're not going to get into here. I think you know what a donkey represents. It was a joke originally that they just kind of embraced and ran with. The first Democratic president was a guy by the name of Andrew Jackson. You guys may have seen him before. Can anybody raise their hand and tell me what kind of money you would see this guy's face? Does anybody know? Or which dollar bill, the 1, the 5, the 10? I'll give dojo points that anybody can answer. It's like Robbie thinks he knows.
Is it the $20 bill?
It is.
Boom.
Everybody give a thumbs up to Robbie for getting the first question of the new Zoom class right. Good job, Robbie. Yeah, he is on the $20 bill, although there has been talk of removing him and replacing him, but we'll see how that goes. Here are some other Democrats that you may or may not recognize. We got FDR down here in the corner, John F. Kennedy, a very famous president, and Bill Clinton, obviously the husband of Hillary Clinton. Does anybody know, another question for you guys, FDR is famous for being the only president to accomplish something. Does anybody know what that might be? Steji?
I don't know, but I have a question about
Okay, yeah.
the Zooms. So do we have them on the days we have your class?
Yeah, the Zooms will be, for this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Mhm.
Next week, civic Zooms will be Tuesday, Thursday. And then
Okay,
it keeps flipping back and forth from that point on.
okay, thank you.
Makes sense? You're welcome, buddy. Again, back to the question. Does anybody know what FDR is famous? He did something that no other president has done. And it's actually technically illegal now because they passed an amendment to prevent it. See, Keller's got his hand raised.
He had 4 terms or 8 years of presidency.
He did 4 years, I'm sorry, he
8
did
years.
4 terms, not 8 years, but had he lived through his 4th term, he would have been president for 16 years. Keller, do you know why they can't do that now?
No.
What did they have to change to prevent that?
That after 2 terms, somebody else has to get elected.
Right, and what did they have to put into the Constitution to
Oh, amendment.
an amendment? Yeah. So unfortunately for some of these politicians, you can't do that any longer. But he did serve 4 times as president. Let's move ahead. Some basic facts about the Republicans, and you see Mr. Abraham Lincoln there. Republicans came along a little bit later, founded in 1854. You're typically going to see a lot of their media is going to be in red. That's their official color. They use the elephant as their symbol, and again, the first president that you see there, Mr. Abraham Lincoln. And again, if I'm moving too fast, guys, feel free to stop me. We'll try to wrap this up here. Here are some other Republican presidents that you may or may not recognize. We got Dwight D. Eisenhower. Ronald Reagan was a very popular president back in the 1980s. George W. Bush, over here, he was president just before Obama. And of course, the current administration under Donald Trump is also Republican. Sure. Here's the current makeup of the 116th Congress by party. Notice that the Senate right now has 53 Republicans and 40, whoops. Still getting used to this, guys. Bear with me, I'm sorry. Can you guys all see? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it, the current slide. Okay. We have 53 Republicans in the Senate and 45 Democrats in the Senate. Notice the gray dots here. There are a few people who do not have any party affiliation. Those are independents. If you look over here at the House, currently the division is 235 Democrats with 199 Republicans. If you remember back to some of the things that we discussed in class, remember that a lot of times they don't see eye to eye, which we're going to get into in just a moment. This is why it's kind of tough for them to pass legislation with one political party controlling one chamber, the other political party controlling the other chamber. As you guys probably remember, it's got to clear both chambers before it can go to the president as a potential law. All right, guys, here's where we're going to, you're going to fill out this thing. Can everybody see the document that I have up on the screen where it says Democrats and Republicans and it has a chart? It was the thing that I asked you guys to download prior to coming in. Can you guys all see that? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it on the screen. I just want to make sure that you guys can. It says Democrats, Republicans, size of government, taxes, regulations. All right. all we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of fill out this chart and go through it, and we'll be done for the day. The first thing that I want you guys to look at here, when we talk about the size of the government, what that means is how much government should we have? How many laws should we have? How much should the government be in our day-to-day lives? These are very generalized statements, and by no means am I saying that all Democrats or all Republicans believe all of these things all the time, but they're in general. So if you look here, generally Democrats favor larger government to intervene. They believe in using the government as a force for good to help people out. So here's what you do. On your notes where it says size of government, we're going to kind of shrink this down a little bit. Let me blow this up so you guys can actually see it. So it's large, using government to help. Whereas the Republicans generally favor a smaller government with private individuals handling most decision making. They would typically be against government welfare programs. I'm sorry? Yeah, they would typically believe they're typically against government welfare programs. They believe that the less government that we have, the better. It's less interfering in your life. So on your notes, blow up the Does everybody understand? I spell interference wrong. Yeah. So if you want to take a moment to fill out your notes, you can do that now. Let's check the chat, see if you guys. Does anybody have any questions? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to move on to the next little piece of your note. Nobody yet? Most of you guys? And again, this is being recorded, so you can always come back in and do it at a different time. All right. The next thing we're going to look at is where they stand on taxes. So the Democrats tend to take what's called a progressive stance. Remember, they like the idea that the government is a little bit larger. They like the idea that the government is actively trying to go out and help people, whether that is giving people unemployment insurance, whether that is helping provide health care. They believe that higher earners, and I'm reading from right here, should be taxed at a higher rate. Taxes should be used to pay for social welfare programs and to kind of redistribute and balance income out a little bit. So on our notes, when we look at taxes, we're going to put tend to favor, right? Again, my X button doesn't work, so that's supposed to be taxes. Oh, there it goes. So Democrats tend to favor higher taxes to pay for social welfare programs. Social welfare programs would be housing assistance for the poor, food programs, things of that nature. Does everybody understand the Democratic position in general on taxes? See, we got a question. Let me find you. Nate, did you have a question, buddy? Oh, Cheyenne, you got to turn your video off, kiddo. Mia, they're called social programs. Social welfare programs are things like housing assistance for the poor, food stamps for somebody that can't pay for food, those sorts of things. Social welfare programs are anything the government gives to help people that are kind of at the bottom. Mia, did that make sense? Wyatt, you had a question, bud? I'm trying to unmute you here.
I didn't have a question. I don't know if I accidentally raised my hand, but
That's okay. No problem. Yeah. Nate, did you have, Nate Brooks, did you have a question as well? I'm trying to unmute you, but it's. Let's go ahead and, okay. Let's go ahead and move on. Republicans, and what you're going to notice, guys, is that the positions that they take on a lot of these things tend to be the opposite. Republicans tend to favor what are called flat taxes, where everybody pays the exact same tax rate. They tend to favor cutting taxes wherever possible. They believe that if you give companies money, those companies will then reinvest it in their business, they'll hire more people, they'll provide more products, and generally the economy will run better. So when we go back to our notes, and we go to Republicans, if I can get in there. Yeah, more jobs, Nick's correct. At least that would be their position. So tend to favor tax cuts for businesses. And that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up if you understand the difference in their tax policy. All right, we're going to pick up the pace a little bit here because I'm gone a little bit longer than what I wanted. Actually, we'll do one more, and I'll show you guys the assignment for today, and then we'll pick this up next time. Government regulations. What this means is their stance on laws. How much government should there be? Should there be more laws, less laws? Democrats in general believe that government regulations are needed to protect consumers. Consumers are people that buy products, so people like you and me, and the environment. They believe that one of the government's main jobs is to prevent companies from overcharging people, prevent companies from abusing their employees. That's why they tend to favor things like higher minimum wage. They also believe and tend to be very environmental. They believe that the government should do things to stop companies from polluting. So when we go to our notes over here, where it says government regulations, again, I'm going to blow this up for you guys so you can see it. Tend to favor that makes sense to you guys? Give me a thumbs up if you understand. Okay. Republicans, again, they're kind of going to be the opposite a little bit. They believe that regulations put too much of a burden on private individuals and companies, that it costs companies money that they could be better spent elsewhere, like growing their business. You see here, they believe that government regulations hinder the market and make companies less competitive and profitable. So again, they take more of a pro-business stance. So when we go into our differences here, again, I'm going to click in. You guys follow? We've already gone for about 40 minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and stop there. one quick thing for you guys. Your assignment that's not going to be due until Wednesday. So can you guys all see my EDSB screen? Excuse me. Give me a thumbs up if you can follow me here. Okay. If you scroll down, here's the schedule for the week. This is where the notes can be found, the thing that I was typing into that said Democrats and Republicans. Oh, America had a question. America, yes, ma'am.
It says you kicked me out of the meeting, so I'm just using your computer for today, but I don't get.
Did you not have your name on there?
It said JViz first, then I tried changing my name, it didn't work. It said you removed me from the meeting, so I couldn't get back in.
I didn't recognize it. I'm sorry. So here you have what your assignment is. There is a link here that will take you to this page. And it's just all about the history of political parties, just some background information for you guys. And then you have a handful of questions that you need to answer. Very similar to some of the work that you guys did last week. And again, this is not going to be due until Wednesday before the next meeting. And I'm going to go ahead and stop there because we went a little bit longer than what I intended. Shana, you had a question, kiddo?
Yeah, are we finishing the notes thing next class?
We're gonna finish that next time. So
Okay.
I went a little bit longer than what I expected. So on Wednesday, I'll go in and we'll just knock that out real quick.
Got it.
Okay? Are there any other questions from you guys? And again, I appreciate you guys being patient with me. This is my my first time doing this. Dylan, did you have a question, bud? Let me unmute you.
Yeah. For this, will we be like, because EDSB's down today, we'll be able to do it tomorrow, right?
You should be, and it should be up later. My guess is there's a lot of people on there right now, which is why it's running slow. So just give it a little bit of time. The assignment honestly shouldn't take you more than 15, 20 minutes to do.
All right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wyatt, did you have a question, bud?
I don't have a question. I'm just applauding you right now.
You're applauding me. Okay, I appreciate it. All right, if there's no more questions, I'm gonna go ahead and stop you guys there.
I have a question.
Hi.
Have a wonderful day.
You too, bud. I'm sorry, who was that said they had a question?
Me, Keller.
What's up, Keller?
Do you think you could send a link to the text in the chat, or?
For the questions, this?
Wasn't there the text, the facts for now?
You mean the thing that we were doing the notes on?
No, the text that we're gonna do for the thing on Wednesday. Isn't there like a text that we need to follow for that?
No.
Oh, all right.
Hey, Mr. Mellum.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
This is Ella.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm still like a little bit confused on our schedule. So the civics this week, the meetings are going to be on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right?
Yes, ma'am. And
Okay,
as
and
well
then-
as your math class, which I think is from 11 to noon. And again,
Okay.
if you can't make that time, it's okay. The
Okay.
teachers will be posting everything to EDSB for you guys.
Okay.
And then on Tuesday, Thursday of this week will be Mr. Warner and Miss Crespo.
Okay.
And then
But
next
then-
week they're going to switch. So you'll have civics Tuesday, Thursday, math Tuesday, Thursday, and then the classes that you have Tuesday, Thursday this week will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Any other questions from anyone? No? All right, I'm gonna post this up to EDSB for you guys so you can come back to it. Again, the notes that we didn't finish today, it'll take like 5 minutes next time. We'll have more time to do stuff because we won't need to go over as many of the rules of the schedule. So again, I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your morning to join me. And if you don't have any other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and log off. If you do have questions later on the day, I'll be on EDSB. Feel free to send me a question.
All right. Bye, Mr. Mellum.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Mr.
Bye.
Mellum.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Mr. Mellum.
Have a good day.
See ya.
Bye.
Do you not know how to end it?
At the very bottom, leave message or leave meeting. Bye.
OJ, you there? Oh, he left.